Welcome to Cam on Court. This is episode 2, and I got a special guest here with me today, who goes by the name of Jordan. Jordan, that's your name. What's your last name, Jordan?
My last name, my name is Jordan Freundlich.
Freundlich?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Where are you from, man?
I'm from Boston, East
Okay.
Coaster.
East Coaster?
Yeah, you know it.
You know, and what are you doing all the way out here?
Going to Evergreen, I'm a sophomore. Just got done taking a political economies class.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, and are you're a sports guy? Are you into sports?
Yeah, I'm definitely into sports. I play soccer. I try and play soccer every night here.
Okay.
Play football on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, have you heard about the whole CRC situation that's going on right now with the rebuilding of the CRC, possibly?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know a lot about the specifics, but I do know that a lot of students at Evergreen are not for the CRC renovations, and I know it's kind of like a win or lose. It's a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. So to give our viewers some background information just on the old CRC situation, the CRC is possibly going to get renovated, and it's going to be a big $32 million project that they have going on. And what they're thinking about doing is charging students $10 per credit for the CRC renovation, just for some funding, because they want to find funding elsewhere other than wherever else they're getting the funding from. So that's the big real issue right now with students around the campus, because some students obviously are for it and some students are just way against it. And how is your feeling towards that? Being a current student at Evergreen, like, what is your whole feeling towards the CRC right now, the whole situation?
Yeah. I think it's a tough situation. Personally, being into sports and coming from the East Coast, I was really expecting to have like turf fields to be able to play on here.
Yeah.
Because I knew how much it rained. I was expecting like a nice turf field that we could play on even if it's raining. But we don't have that. And so that definitely makes it tough for us who, if we want to play soccer, if we want to play football, our ability to play and to get out there and be active is really reliant on the weather. And in a location where it rains so much, it's kind of hard to be active and to do all those things that we want to be able to do with the fields as they are right now. But I also recognize that $10 a credit, that's a lot of money a quarter. If it's 16 credits, that's $160. And I don't know, like if you try to do more than 16 credits a quarter, if they would tack that on too. I think that would be an interesting question to look up. But I think that $10 a credit is a lot. So I'm kind of in the middle. I have some ideas for what I would like them to do instead. I don't know if you want to hear those.
Yeah. So before you say those ideas, do you currently use the CRC? Because I mean, obviously, if you're not using it, you shouldn't. I don't feel like your opinion is kind of not as high as somebody else who is of importance of using the CRC.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you have to define what you mean by using the CRC, right?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. You're right.
I think most. I'll use the gym occasionally.
Okay.
I'll, go shoot hoops occasionally. I'll do that kind of stuff, but I'm not in there every single day.
Constant guy, yeah.
I'm not like that, but I also think not a lot of students at Evergreen are using the CRC every single day. Like, there's Evergreen doesn't have a sports culture. We don't have that. And so if we're going to define using the CRC as every single day you're in the gym, that's going to cut down the people who can, like, share their view or comment or have a real opinion on the CRC down way low. So I think we need to, I don't know. Like I said, it's a really tough situation.
I mean, do you live in like around the community also?
Yeah, I live in Rock Maple, so it's super easy for me to just walk over.
Walk over and use the CRC. And do you feel like that's beneficial to you, like having the gym right there and stuff like
definitely. Like I have a few friends who live in Rock Maple who go all the way out to like 24-hour fitness, but like they have cars and stuff. So since I don't have a car, it's super easy.
Yeah.
And it's helpful and beneficial that I can just walk over to campus. Definitely.
What's your feeling about the CRC now, as far as the way it looks, and just as far as like
I mean,
how it's kept up, and
it's a little old school.
What do you mean by old school? I mean,
not
that
old
term
school,
could be used,
but it's older than most gyms I've used back home in Boston.
Okay.
The equipment, the type of equipment they've got, just the way it looks too. It's just a little, but it's very evergreen. It's very evergreen. It's very we don't commit our money and our resources to sports, which is what Evergreen's been all about.
Yeah.
And so if we are going to do the CRC thing, I would like to see them like fully commit themselves to creating a sports culture, because that's what they're putting the money into.
So do you feel like them creating the CRC will help the sports culture? Like as an honest opinion, do you feel like is that why you think that's why they're doing it? Honestly,
I think that if it would take some effort in order to create a sports culture here.
yeah,
But creating and building this new renovated CRC is definitely a great first step, right? Putting a ridiculous amount of money into it, getting those fields, getting new equipment, getting energy efficient everything, and just basically making it new, modern looking is definitely going to increase the capacity and the ability to have a sports culture. But the school also would have to put effort into creating that sports culture. So if they're going to build the CRC, I would like to see the school put that effort into it, because then you can tell they did this with an intention. If they just make the CRC new and just leave it at that, like, why did you even do that? Because no one's going to use it.
yeah. So you feel that even if they do this creation with the CRC and then these improvements, that no one's gonna use it if it's just for the sports culture. You think? Because I see different things like from like the different like little posters outside and things like that of like the images you see, and it's like wow, there's like different like real innovative things on it, and it's almost like a fantasy.
Yeah,
it's almost like you look at a video game and you're like, okay,
yep.
They can do that now in this day and age. I never thought that was possible. You know?
I feel like that's kind of propaganda though. All those billboards and stuff. Like,
really,
it's just like the commercials and just billboards you see where people are like being happy at like a beach or something like that, and then it's a beer commercial or something like that. That's what those billboards are, right? They're creating them, all the images,
very
the drawings,
stereotypical.
all that stuff. Yeah, stereotypical. This is what students are going to do in this thing. But in reality,
I actually saw that too. Like if you actually look at some of the boards and the posters and stuff like that, they had like some kids riding unicycles and doing different things that Evergreen students would do, and I'm kind of like, that's a little stereotypical. You wouldn't know off the top of your head that somebody's going to be doing that.
Exactly.
That's just impression. But either way, it's this side and the other side. So you know. But as far as your ideas go, like what were some of your ideas for the CRC? Being a student.
Again, I haven't looked into the details. I don't know if this is possible. What I would like to see them do, or at least try to do, and they may have looked into this, would be like taking out a loan, so they have the money to build the CRC and do the renovations.
Yeah.
And then in order to pay that loan back, starting whenever the CRC opens with like the next class of students, so the next class of freshmen come in. Those freshmen are committing to pay the fee of the CRC renovations by becoming Evergreen students. So they know when they're saying, yep, I'm going to come to Evergreen, they know that they're going to be paying that extra $10 a credit.
Yeah.
Rather than make the students who are already here, who have committed to pay the certain amount we've already committed by becoming Evergreen students, we shouldn't have to pay extra for something we're not even going to be able to use.
Yeah.
But make those people pay.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's another big issue right now. A lot of people are talking about. They feel like it doesn't really make sense to have somebody vote on something that they're not going to be able to use.
Yeah.
And me personally, I feel that way too, because I'm actually a senior and I'm going to be done this year, and I got a chance to vote on it, but I won't be able to use it because I'm not planning on coming here because I live in a different state. I'm not from, I'm not living in the state of Washington after I'm done.
I mean, me too. Yeah.
Yes, and so with you, would you be able to use it as a sophomore? You think?
I don't know. Maybe
or maybe not. Yeah, it's questionable.
Like you never
know,
right?
Because you never.
Construction
honestly,
pushes it back. Someone pushes it back, and all of a sudden, I'm back in Boston when it opens up.
So do you feel like it's
put all that money into it?
So do you feel like it's fair? As far as that goes?
No, definitely not fair. Definitely not equitable. I think if the school was really about social justice and about, being fair and just, the students at Evergreen right now wouldn't have to pay for this, especially since a smaller percentage than the entire public uses it.
So, you're a student, and what would you say to the student who is going to school full time, has to have a full time job, has to have all these other expenses and things like that, yet they still want to be able to use the gym, and they're actually not let's say not for the CRC, but they don't have the funds to pay for that because they have so many other things they have to pay for. What do you say to that student?
I say vote no.
Vote no.
Vote no.
Really?
Yeah. I'm probably gonna vote no. I might not vote at all. I'm definitely not voting yes. I think that there's been enough talk about how shady this is and how many students don't like it. Me personally, I'm a little impartial, but if a big part of the population of the school doesn't want it, I'm going to vote no too. in solidarity and to show support for that, because I'm not for something if everyone else is against it. It just doesn't make sense.
Wow.
And I think Evergreen is about that.
Yeah.
And so the people who are just making this decision need to see that, in my opinion.
So you say you're not for something if everybody else is against it. So are you really taking your stance, or are you just going with the crowd? Because I mean, that statement is more.
I think I'm sticking. I think I'm sticking true to my beliefs.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely cool. So
I think it would be easy for someone to just be like, you know what, I don't care, but I like it, so I'm gonna vote yes.
do you feel like a lot of that is going to happen with the voting and everything like that?
I don't know. I think in past things, it's hard for people to get students to vote.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So I could easily see them not getting enough votes for this, which I don't know what they'll do. I don't know if they need a certain number
if
of
there's like a
votes.
voting thing, like, because obviously we don't know that either. We just know that you can vote and it's open from a certain time to a certain time.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what the results will mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I think most people will probably vote no.
Yeah, and even with the results, something that I was curious about was, even if they get the results, does that really mean? What does that honestly mean?
Yeah,
do they go
that's a good
ahead with
question.
it? Do they don't go ahead? What is your feel on that? You know, like, you feel like the vote actually means something? Because so many times in this country we vote on things and it's kind of like,
Yeah, I mean,
you know, you vote, you make a change, but really, does it really mean something?
we live
or-
in a false democracy.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's something we would never know, right? It's going to be a behind curtain thing, probably. We're not going to see the result. We might see the results, but we're not going to see. Hopefully, we'll see the results. Hopefully, we'll also see the decision process and who's making the decisions and how they're making them, and they'll be really transparent about all of that. But it's also a college, and they're going to do what they're going to do.
So just wrapping up this interview and everything like that. In a perfect world for Jordan, as a current Evergreen student, what would be the best scenario for you when it comes to the CRC situation as far as the renovation goes?
The best scenario is that students don't have to pay any money and they still do the renovations. That would be the best scenario. That'd be awesome. I don't know if that's possible. If it is, do that. That'd be sweet.
Hopefully it is possible, because
Yeah.
if it is, I'd make everybody happy
everyone
at this
happy,
point.
exactly.
Because the one thing I don't really hear get brought up too many times is, how come we don't get like donors, or someone just of that
I think we
has
probably get some donors. But I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is we pay so much money already to go here.
yeah.
We shouldn't have to pay more to have an updated facility. That's ridiculous.
True. We pay so much money to go here, but our tuition is probably less than everywhere else.
In-state, yo.
In-state,
I'm paying out of state.
Yeah, out of state
sucks.
That's yeah. So what's out of state like? Is it something ridiculous compared?
I mean,
to
it's not ridiculous compared to other
like
colleges.
But I
Yeah.
mean, just for using our college as an example, the Evergreen State, it's just pretty bad. There's a difference.
Yeah, there's definitely a big difference between in-state and out-of-state.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think in-state's like less than 10,000.
Yeah.
Out-of-state's 20-something.
20-something thousand.
Yeah.
So that's another factor that I guess people are not really
Yeah.
putting into play for students.
Yeah,
you
the
know?
people the adults who are probably making the decision, they're not paying, $20,000 to go to the school a year either. So
It's true.
they need to get with the program.
You heard what the man said, man. You adults out there, get with the program. Get it right. Well, I want to thank you.
Yeah,
for the
definitely.
interview, man. Thank you for this.
Yeah, thanks for having me in.
Yo, anytime on Cam on Court.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how we do.
Word.
All right, man.